Mic check. Mic check. Let's get some music in this joint going. Downloads. Let's see how loud this joint is. Mic check. Mic check. Stop. Mic check. Mic check. Let's turn this music down a little bit. Stock talk game. Let's see how the futures are looking. Last time I checked, they were down some. Let's see if they're looking more bloody. Oh yeah, they're getting more bloody. Oh, getting more bloody. They are getting more bloody. Let's see. Ooh, let's see how stock market news. Is it just the Delta variant that's shares and losses as renewed? COVID scare. Is the music that loud? See what Asia's saying. Google has agreed to acquire 5.5. Oh, what's this? Trying to increase their software capabilities on the cloud. That's smart. Zoom needs to increase their infrastructure for sure. Yen edges up against the dollar. Gold inches up to. Okay, let's see how gold is doing. I wonder if it'll have an inverse relationship. Not really. It's flat, basically. Flat gold. Let's find a stock that's less poppin'. This is poppin'. Let's bring up this other stream. I'm over here just posting on stock tweets on this. Let's see if anybody else is in stocks and bonds. Let's see what else we got here. 32 viewers. Let's get some extra viewers in this joint. When I say extra viewers, I mean myself. Let's make the chat look more active. I've been live for 10 hours. Jesus. Must be a fake person. This person's alive. This guy even looking at. People got followers. Chat on. Futures red. Yeah, Cube. Futures are red. I've been warning people for last couple weeks on our live stream and Discord. I don't know if you're in there. Cube, have you been here before? I don't recognize your name. Nah. Oh, nice, man. Where'd you hear about the stream from? I know I've been posting stock twits, so maybe there. We could do some analysis of. Do you have any stocks you want me to kind of do an analysis on, chart analysis? You're the first one here, so we can cover whatever the heck you want. Any stocks you got questions about? We can cover the index if you want. So put something in PLTR as well. We can cover that. I'm not sure where you heard me at or what post you saw me on at Stock Twits. But yeah, let me know if you have any specific stock questions. We'll go through it together. Let me know. Welcome to whoever's in the stream. Tow ropes was from SQQQ, yeah. So over like the last week, we have a Discord group. I think we had the link on. If you're on Twitch, it's right under the stream. But we've been talking about SQQ for. I've been talking about it on my YouTube channel too. Chill Deal Trades. Thank you, Mubat. But I'll plug my YouTube channel as well. I've been talking about SQQ for a while. Trying to get people in our Discord and my YouTube to kind of start considering. Hello there. Thanks for stopping by the channel. My name is Dylan, and this is Chill Deal Trades. I make daily videos, both dissecting the market. Let's do that. Archon. Oh yeah, big red. What's the news on, by the way? Just curious. I don't cover. I haven't did any research on Archon. I'll look it up right now, or we can look it up together. Archon, China name. Oil and gas with a twist. What does that mean? That was an offering. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Archon. Oh, you know what? I remember Archon back in the day. So I used to day trade probably, time goes so fast, 3 years ago. I was day trading. I did it for about a year and a half. And I remember Archon was one of the names that people used to squeeze higher back in the day. Kind of a pump and dump stock. I don't know what they are today, if they've blossomed into something a little bit better. But highly profitable. Okay. $3. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's a big run. Clean energy. What was their offering? How many shares did they do? See if I can find news on them. Not much talk. But yeah, obviously news is never a positive thing for a stock, for sure. But we can look at technically speaking, kind of if we're seeing anything. It must have been a really large offering if it dropped this low, is my guess. I'm assuming they got caught up in the the clean energy push higher that happened, this last year. I'm assuming that's why they pushed higher. Did you buy them already, Cube, or have you not purchased the stock, or you're considering buying in? Anybody else in the chat, just shoot me your question. And we can cover it after we do the stock. I'm assuming 50 days, yeah, way higher. I will be back. Okay. Yeah, let me know when you're back in the chat. We'll dive into it a little bit more. But if anybody else is in the chat, Toe Ropes, not sure if you're a real person, but if you are, let me know if you have any questions. Doesn't even have the right screen on. But if anybody else in the chat has any questions, please let me know. I'll wait to cover this stock until Cube gets back. That's nasty. We'll start charting this out until someone else says something in the chat. I gotta find information about this earnings. Recon Technology. I don't know why there's no news about this offering. I don't have my Thinkorswim up, so I always do charting on Sunday nights on this platform. So let me see how big this earnings was, or this offering. Let's look at some deets. Subsidiary signs corp. Okay. I'm not seeing this anywhere, even on the recent news. How long ago was that? That was back on. Oh, that was back in June. That was a long time ago. Gotcha. That's why it's not popping up on the news. We're going to share offering. Must have been massive. Welcome to whoever's in the stream. Let me know if you have any stock questions. Actually, let me put that up on text so people know to ask me questions. If you got questions, ask me. Let's change the color so it'll actually show up. You can keep with the red theme here. Where is it? Properties. Properties. Oh, here we go. Color. Wait, it says red. The hell, bruh? This small text, is that what's going on? What about a trader are you? Oh, I just saw your message. I mostly do swing trading, but I have experience doing all times of trading. Ugh, that's why it's... I've done day trading. I do long-term. I mostly do swing trading nowadays, but historically speaking, I've done a little bit of everything. So I feel I do a lot of technical analysis. That's usually my guide in my investments. Unless it's like a long-term trade, then I'll first look at the company and then I'll look into technicals to see if it's a worth buy at that time or not. So that's the type of trader I am. How about you, Cube? What kind of trading do you do? Day trader, swing trader, long term, technicals, fundamentals. I don't know. People like to define things different ways. I've done a little bit of it all. A little bit of it all. But yeah, when you left before, I was asking for this stock. Is it a stock that you already own? Is it a stock that you're looking at buying? Trade out of PLR, CDP, yeah. Yeah, chance of upswing. Yeah, Jake, I'll wait for whenever Cube get back to me. I'll finish off that for you, but he kind of went silent. Yeah, so I sold out of Vayne a little while ago, just because it wasn't going anywhere. Basically, you've been around Jake. I've been kind of telling people the last few weeks, like, market's getting to a place where it looks like it wants to, bite the bullet, and start doing a little bit of a correction. Who knows how long, but a correction to the end of the month. And so I've been getting out of my more speculative positions for a while. I sold half of my position back in the day way up here, and I held on to the rest just because I do think Vayne's a good company, but it's looking like fundamentally for them that they're going to have to continue to do share offerings to raise money to finance the company. So until they get that situated, it's going to probably be a stock rises a little bit. They do a share offering. If they can get the price to raise, do a share offering, raise money, put it into sales and development, and then rinse and repeat until they can finally get some of their products more profitable or get some of their products they're working on FDA approved. And so, yeah, I sold out of this more recently because I was just like, I'm going to take my half. I think I made a couple $100 on it. Could have made more, unfortunately, but, it's part of the game. I would say if there is any chance, let me go to the daily. I do think there's more downside for the stock, which is the unfortunate part. If it were to push higher, it probably would move to this gap at some point, but that's probably as high as it's getting unless they put out some extra, some really special news. So we have some different resistance points, but as I said before, it could get lower. I think this is stocks at all-time lows, so there's not really a floor. The only floor that this stock has is how oversold it can get. And what it can do is keep kind of just going like this to keep it from going any lower and just kind of slowly move lower and lower. So in the short intermediate term, it's really hard to say, but with all the markets turning over right now, for the short term at least, that's calling that there's going to be more short term for this. There's going to be more downturn for this stock if the markets continue to turn over as they are in the futures right now and potentially can. So that's the main thing you're going to want to look out for. But yeah, if it moves higher, if the market, corrects over the next couple of weeks or whenever that is, and the market starts moving higher, I don't know how low this can go. There's not really any technicals to let us know how low it could go outside of readings. And so that's what makes it hard to figure out where that price point is. But if it squeezes higher, you're going to want to look at the 20 and 50 day. And if you get enough acceleration, maybe back up to 450. But yeah, the company's not looking so hot, generally speaking. They had I'll look at the other. So why I originally bought into this company is because of the institutional buying. They had a lot of people putting a lot of money, hundreds of millions of dollars into the company. Let me bring it up. Institutional buying real quick. So that's the original reason I bought it, is because of all the institutional buying. can tell here, all the institutions sold out last quarter, and that's why the price went from, what is that, like 11 bucks? Yeah, 12 bucks down to $2, $2.50, is because all the institutions sold out. You know, so institutions are probably flipping it on the short side. I don't know where their most recent short interest is, but a lot of them sold out. So this tells me that they've given up on the stock for the time being. And that's why I sold out, is because I saw the big boys selling out. And I was like, I don't want anything to do with it, because that's the reason I bought it in the first place. All this institutional buying was the reason I bought it. And since they sold out, for me, it was time to sell it. It was unfortunate. I think the company has a huge potential, but, you know, potential could still be down the line sometime. Doesn't necessarily mean it's right now. We look more recent. We did have some more people sell out, but we have had some people buy into this dip, but, you know, we're having still a lot of selling. This was a big company that sold out of most of their position. So, yeah, not looking so hot for the company, honestly, because of all the institutional selling. Let's go to the next stock you're talking about. Just got around to sell it late. I sold a little bit later than I could have. I probably could have sold it back in June around four to $5, and I sold it at like 3 something. So, but I sold out back in. I sold out a while ago. Welcome whoever's in the stream. Appreciate you dropping by. But yeah, I sold out of half of my position. I just was playing with the rest of the position just to see what would happen. I had a pretty low cost basis anyway. I think it was around $5. So I was just letting it ride to see if anything maybe happened. It just kept dying. So I was like, it's not worth the hold anymore with me thinking the market was going to turn over. So I sold it before the market turned over. I think the week before last or something like that. ACIC. Oh yeah, what's this company? Let me Google them. Have any insight on this ACIC company? I don't know much about them. Jake. Let's see if I have a description somewhere of who they are. Is this a SPAC? I feel like I remember this being a SPAC. Could be wrong though. Oh, SPAC. Let me see if I can bring up the deal. I'm not sure who they're. Let me see if I have any. See if institutions are buying into this or not. That's from earlier. Where's this page? Okay. Oh, they're the air travel drones. I was like, I know I remember this name from somewhere. So we're 4 billion. I mean, that's the first red flag to me. Do they have any revenue? Do you know? Or are they pre-revenue? I'm assuming they're pre-revenue. Market's expected to range once. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter about expectations. Oh, I was expected to have revenue of 42 million. Oh yeah, this is definitely. They're gonna go from 42 million to 1 billion in 1 year. I doubt that. I don't think that's gonna happen. But the name of the game for these guys is, I'm pretty sure, I had someone buying this last quarter for some reason. But I think the name of the game for these guys is gonna be, they're gonna have to raise money. Yeah, these people bought last year. Ooh. Yeah, this is not telling a great sign. I don't know what your buy-in price was. What was your buy-in price, Jake? Hopefully not up here in the 17s. My heart hopes for you. Did I not have my screen all the time? I always do this, bro. But I was looking at this article. So yeah, their pre-revenue is what it sounds like. Says Arca reveals that its first electric flying taxi maker has already received 1 billion orders from United Airlines. Okay, that's interesting. I'm pretty sure that they're going to 14. Oh, sorry, man. Yeah, I bought some SPACs too. I definitely lost. I think I lost like $300 on SPACs or something. So I feel some of the pain. I made a little bit of money, but not as much as I lost. I sold out of some of the SPACs at around $10. But I made a couple $100 on a couple too. But yeah, I went with the hype. That's what happened with a lot of these SPACs, and it's just gonna have to. Some of them will survive, and some of them won't. For this company, I don't know how this pre-order is working. If they're getting the money in advance. If they're getting this money in advance, this is something you might want to look up. Then that's gonna give them. That's gonna give them capital to build all of this inventory that they're gonna have to build. If that's not the case, then they're gonna have to find revenue to build everything, and that's probably gonna come through share dilution. They're gonna dilute shares at some point, which is definitely gonna send the stock below $10 eventually, in my personal opinion. I think we talked about it on the stream the other day, but SPAC. How many SPACs in 2021? So we've talked about this, but this is the issue. Wait, this is not the right chart. Where's the number of them? Anyway, SPACs have exploded. Oh yeah, 6, not bad. That's definitely fortunate on that part. Here's the chart I want. So this is the issue. There's good companies out there, even some that already have a lot of revenue. Like there's some companies I invested in that already have a ton of revenue. Their valuations are maybe a little hot, but nothing too wild. But look at the supply. The supply, and this is kind of the same image we see with the IPO market, is we're just seeing. We're just seeing a massive supply shock, and when you have too many of one thing, then that dilutes the buying power, because you know, same thing's happening in both the SPAC. Yeah, see, IPOs, it's the highest it's been basically since 2000, and we all know what happened in 2000. So we have record number of IPOs, we have record number of SPACs, and so that means even the good companies that have a possibility to be a success, these companies are also being hurt. And so, you know, ACIC, like, it seems like there's a potential. I can definitely see, you know, helicopter air type of travel become something for people with a little bit more money. And there's a lot of people with a lot of money right now. But just the supply is so large that it's going to hurt everybody. You know, there might be 1 or 2 winners out there, but for the most part, everybody's going to get hurt. And so that kind of included with all this selling, I don't like 100%. Everyone's sold out 100%. And so what this is maybe telling me is these are people who got in early on around $10, and they've been selling out over the last couple months. Let me see where the price was back in April. So yeah, they even sold back at $10. They might have got in like pre $10. They might be gotten shares at like $4 or something. But yeah, we have a lot of selling. So do you know when their reverse merger date is? Because my guess would be is after that happens, they're gonna sink. So I'll give you an example. So shoot, what's their new SPRQ? Shoot, let me look this up real quick. So SPRQ is a company that I think has a great potential. They have a ton of revenue already. They're a solar company. They do like solar installations and stuff. SunL. So this is a company that I super believe in, but because of just the supply issue, I sold here right before they reverse merged into SunL because I knew this was going to happen. I saw it coming. And so that's why I've gotten out of all of my SPACs that are reverse merging in the next month or so, because I expected this to happen with all of them. So This goes back to, if this goes to like $4 or $5, I'll probably buy in because I think that's too cheap. But for the time being, there's going to be some more downside risk, and I think that's with any of these SPACs that are reverse merging soon. TLROY, yeah, I remember you asking this on stream a little while ago, and I gave you some feedback back then. Around, I think it was either on the down from the peak or right before this little push higher. So I think there's a lot changing with weed stocks, you know, and a lot of positive momentum in terms of legislature. But these companies are just so overvalued. Even after this pullback to $13, $14, these companies are wildly overvalued. And that's the main issue with a lot of the market, especially small cap. Look up some things on PLTR or TLRY real quick. Just get an idea of what institutions are doing right now. Try to get an idea of... Are you in the stream by chance? Are you posting on StockTwits? Just curious. If not, post in. Oh yeah, okay, you are. Cool. Oh, I was asking Nate. Nate sometime hops on and posts some stuff online for me while I'm streaming. But let's look at institutions. So we did see some institutions buying last quarter. That's a good sign, but I mean, we'll also have to look at short interest here. See if it's getting shorted down, because that's not a crazy amount of buying. It's nothing life changing. So let's see. So it's definitely a little bit higher recently. So we have seen short interest pop a little bit. Let's go to FinViz. Let's see if we get a number here. This says 6%, so not crazy high, but we are seeing it creep up. So maybe people are running to the downside a little bit. But, you know, I think we talked about this stock in the past, and you mentioned it was more of a long-term hold for you. So kind of like I mentioned in the past, yeah, it could go a lot lower. I mean, we'll probably get a pop somewhere in August is my guess. So if you're a long-term holder, like I could see us, we're in pretty big support right now. So we're at this recent low. So if we break below this price, then we're probably headed back to, we could head back to $10. Let me look back here, what happened. So we're testing $13. So $13 is right here. So there's some support at $12, which is a positive. $12 and $10 are the two support. Pretty big support at 12. So I would say in best case scenario, it comes back down to $12 in the short term. I still think there's a lot of negative momentum for the long term here, unless something substantially changes in the market. But yeah, I would be looking for a pullback even to $12 here, most likely, just with how the market's turning over. You know, if we hit the, if this week is all the correction we get in the market, I definitely could see this come down to 12 and prop itself back up and maybe come back into this 16, 7. Let's see. If it can break back above 1360, it could definitely come back into this $16 to $18 range after the pullback. But that's just a lot of speculation at this point. There's just a lot of fear in the market right now, and it's a little uncertain. You know, I've been talking about that I think somewhere between a 6 and 13% correction would come in the market, and that was back about a month ago. And as the market's progressed and it breaking new highs, I'm, I mean, it could still go deeper, but with all the market strength that we've seen, you know, I'm thinking somewhere between a 5 and 8 to 9% pullback is more realistic across indexes, but that means that smaller cap stocks would pull back more. So a way to think about it is if the SPY, so think of the companies there, Apple, if Apple pulls back 5%, a stock like Tillery might pull back 20%, or 15%. Like there's going to be a multiplier on how much it pulls back in comparison because it's so much smaller of a company. There's less shares. There's all these reasons why it could pull back drastically much more than the actual index. So yeah, it could definitely come back somewhere in the $12 range, probably to $11.50 if we get a lot more downside over the next month or a couple weeks. And then maybe coming back to this $14 to $17 range, probably back to the upside. But I mean, we can look at the dude. I didn't have my chart up the whole time. Yeah, the market's getting to a really interesting place. So I've been mostly just swing trading lately. There's like one or two stocks that I'm holding long that I'm already down on. I'm down like 10% on some of them, but I'm just going to be doubling up because I have a conviction in them for the second half of the year. But anything that was highly speculative, like I sold out of. Like there's names that I've been cheering for, like Weed Maps. That's a stock I've loved. CHPT, ChargePoint. That's a stock I've loved. But as I've mentioned on some of the Sunday streams, you know, I decided to sell out of some of these names because of just how I saw the market moving, and I saw a big move out of small cap into large cap, and a lot of fear coming around inflation, coming around tapering, coming around higher interest rates, and I knew that was going to hit these small cap names, and so that was the conviction I had about things. And so I don't think that PLTR and all these stocks are going to get back to all-time highs anytime soon. I think everyone online who's preaching that is a little ignorant to economic, how things are happening in general economic or the general economy and how that impacts the stock market. But you know, into August, September, October, I think some of these stocks will pull back, and then that's where I'll be swing trading. And I think, I don't know, I can't remember if you were in the stream yesterday, but I talked about some of them that I like. Yeah, so yeah, it's hard. I mean, 10 to 20% more downside and then maybe a little push higher after that. If I remember, your average is up here somewhere, if I remember correctly, somewhere in the $20 range. But yeah, there could definitely be somewhere with 10 to 20% more downside before maybe pushing up into like September-ish, October range, back up to maybe this consolidation zone or something. But it's hard to tell. That's a lot of speculation. And the last one you had was PLTR. Yeah, so great long-term company, but you know, they have a long ways to go. Let's look what the charts are telling us. Let's see if we got a 20-day test or not. Okay, so it's been a while. We're pulling pretty far away from our SMAs, which is interesting. So we'll have to see what impact that has. At some point, this is going to come back up and test this 20-day, but it could be a while. Let's see where this 20-day is. Yeah, the 20 days above the 50 days. So structurally, the chart is not looking good at all for the short term, intermediate term. As always mentioned, like we need RSI above 50 consistently to be in a bullish phase. And we popped out here and we came back below. So that was a pretty nasty move to the upside, but came right back below. So we'll have to see what happens down here. What's your entry price on PLTR? I just did a video on this stock, I'm pretty sure, on my YouTube channel too, so that will fill in a little bit more in depth as well on PLTR. If I remember correctly on their institutions, it's a mixed 28, a little high. Where are we at right now? 20, yeah, it's a little nasty. So yeah, this is kind of the mixed buying. There's a lot of buying early in the quarter too, and then there's a lot of selling late in Q2. So I'll bring that up. So when I was looking at this the other day, I kind of saw a mix of red and green. So that just told me like a little bit of indecision, and more lately, more red than green. So maybe in the near term that means a little more downside. But we are seeing some buying again. So there are some people jumping back in. This is a name that I'll be looking at on a little bit bigger of a pullback. So I originally set a buy price. It was really sucky. I missed it. I was trying to stick to my guns here. Welcome anybody in the chat. If you have any other questions, please let me know what stocks, and I'll add it to the list of stocks we cover. Oops, didn't mean to move that screen. Move this over because nobody can read it. Yeah, let me know if you have any other stock questions, anybody. And then if you haven't already, please follow me at Chillville Trades on YouTube. I make daily videos, and follow the stream. It'd be appreciated. But originally I set my price target at this consolidation zone right here, and it didn't get there. It got right above it, and so I didn't buy in back then. I should have bought back there. I would have had a nice little run, but I bought some other things instead. And so I'll be looking for a pullback to this range over the next couple weeks. And if you believe in this long term, you know, it could definitely be a dip buy opportunity. But it really depends how drastic of a pullback, if we do, and have in the market in the next couple weeks. It's hard to tell, so it all depends on the market. As soon as we see the market hit a bottom, and I'll be doing update videos all the time on my YouTube channel, so stay tuned there, and in the Discord as well. So if you haven't been in Discord yet, go in there, because we'll be talking about stuff all the time. So yeah, so the chart doesn't look so great. Jay, you should. I don't know if you're watching my YouTube videos, but I'm having a lot of good insight on all these stocks. A lot of good insight on those, so I would say take a peek. But yeah, so we're at this pretty important support zone. Babu Ducks the Discord. Whoever did that for the Discord, you'd a man or woman. Appreciate it. Thanks for shortcutting that, MVP. But we're kind of right into this area right here, which is pretty important. And the stock's kind of choosing if it wants to go lower or not right now. And like I said, if we see red in the market, this is for sure going lower. And oh, then we're before STG, gotcha. So yeah, I'll be looking for a potential entry zone in this place. And that's kind of just depends. I've kind of mentioned my stance for a while now, but you know, I think out into somewhere late July, early August is where we'll have kind of the lowest dip in the market. Somewhere in that range. It's really hard to exactly pinpoint, but somewhere in that range. So I'll be looking to see how low it will go, and then buying into it, because there are so many fans. There's a lot of retail traders, but there's also a lot of fans of this stock. And so I'll be keeping an eye on institutions to see if institutions are buying in over the next few weeks. And then if this gets oversold, you know, if we have a really drastic oversold in this, where RSI on the daily gets to like 20 or something, I feel like we're pretty low on the 4 hour already, yeah. But if on that daily we get really nasty on this oversold, then I'll definitely be buying in. But yeah, it's going to be somewhere in this. Let me zone it out. Somewhere between 14 and 18 is the zone I'll be looking to purchase, and that's probably going to be nothing but a swing trade to me, unless something extremely substantial changes for the chart. Like, if this is something I always talk about, but if I see some really drastic fundamental changes for the stock, so one of the first ones would be, oh, we just have a 200-day started. So if I see that so if we get more downside, this 50-day is probably going to cross over and below the 200-day. What is the length of time for a swing trade? It really depends. So it really just says what the technicals are showing for me, and kind of assessing as that it goes. I have a lot of different trading strategies. So it really just depends on what the technicals are saying. But if the market bottoms sometime in the next couple weeks, specifically for this trade, say kind of coming into early August, late July, we get somewhere down in the $16 range again. And if we double bottom here, if we somehow double bottom here, that's going to be pretty bullish long term. Like, okay, the bottom is set, and if it reverses off that and starts moving an uptrend, that's going to be really bullish for the stock long term, and it'd be a good entry. But with all my swing trades, I always put a stop loss. So as an example, I made a video on Jets, and I talked about it in the Discord. And so I bought at $24 last Friday, not last Friday, the Friday before that, because I was like, oh, if the market opens and breaks above 24, Jets is going higher. But what I saw happen was it hit 24 on Monday, and it got rejected. And so because it didn't follow what I wanted, I sold out of it, you know? And so that's what I do with all swing trades is if I lose out on money, it doesn't really matter. All that I care about is I don't lose money. I don't want to lose money. You know, you always have a risk of losing 1% or 5% depending on kind of how you're managing your risk. But the main thing I don't want to do is lose a lot of money, because early in my trading journey, I didn't use stop losses for swing trades, and I lost thousands of dollars. I made thousands of dollars when I got lucky with a little bit of skill in there as well. But times when I didn't have the skill and I didn't have the luck on my side, and I didn't have a stop loss, I lost thousands of dollars. And so that's why on Jets, let me get back to it again. So when I saw this not break out, that instantly told me, okay, this is not worth it. So I let it not break out that day. The next day I saw it come up and test it again. And that's when I was like, okay, like, nah, this isn't for me. And then what happened after that? It broke below 24. Or wait. Sorry, I think I have this backwards. I'm looking too far in the past. I bought here. It didn't break out above 24. And this day is the day that I sold because I didn't see it breaking out. And then it started moving downwards. And that was my, you know, just I advise everyone, follow your trading strategy and make sure you have a stop loss. If you're doing swing trading, it's absolutely essential. And, you know, if for some reason this came out, it broke my stop loss and it went back up, even though I don't think it would have because of my trading strategy I had, but say it did, I don't care if it goes up. I just don't want to lose money. I don't want to lose anything above what I set my stop loss at. But I've got to a point where I feel pretty confident in my technical analysis, and that's why, and I said in the video, this needs to break above 24 to be bullish. I said it in the Discord, this needs to break 24 to be bullish, and it didn't, and that's why I sold. And so that was kind of and I'm going to look for a pullback here. You know, obviously we have the D variant going around, which is causing a lot of fear in the market. So maybe I'll hold off on airlines now. But if I see this come back here, you know, out into somewhere in August or early July. I'll buy into. I'm looking at Southwest because they're domestic and they won't have any international shutdowns like Delta and some other airlines will. So I'm looking at LUV right now for a big pullback on some of the Delta Delta variant scare. Yeah, I see it just broke below support, so we probably have more red coming here. But if this comes back down to this range somewhere, like if this comes back to 46 or comes back to 46 or 44 in the next couple weeks, I'll for sure be buying that dip. And I'll put a stop loss. So on this trade, you know, if this goes below, say I buy it at 44, if it goes that low, I'll set a stop loss around 43 or 42 because that's where I'm seeing support. I see support at 43.40. And if it breaks below that, I don't want to have any part of it. And that will be the trade. You know, if it comes down and it hits my target and bounces up, great, I made money. But if it breaks by my support and it goes lower, I don't want any part of that. And so, again, always put stop losses on your trades. Anything that's not a super long-term trade, anything that you don't have really crazy conviction in, and something that you want to hold for the next 5 years, or you want to hold for the next, I'm talking outside of cyclicals of the market, because the market has cycles, and your stock will be hurt if we're in a negative cycle, and it will make money if we're in a positive cycle. So unless you want to hold a stock through all of that, then you need to have stop losses to save yourself from major losses. Because I've said it all the time, but it's just the most important thing is you're winning more than you're losing. If you win 60% of your trades and you lose 40% of your trades, assuming you're managing your risk correctly on the trades, on the amount of money that you're putting to each trade, you'll be making money in the long term. That's all that really matters. But yeah, anybody else got questions? Any more stocks? We'll get into them. Jake, did you by happen open up a SQQQ or a oh wait, what's it called? SPSX? Did you open any of those? Berkshire? Is that what this is? Aren't these like $100,000 a share or something? Oh no, this one's smaller. No, aw man, Jake. Bummer. I'm not sure what this exact fund is. Can you give me a little insight on it, Cube? And if you haven't already, Cube, please hit the follow button on the stream and go sub to my my YouTube channel. That would be appreciated. It is BRKB. Woo! Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. So what? Is this just the general Berkshire fund? I thought this was at like $100,000 a share or something. Is this a different one? Oh, Class B. Maybe it's different. So I don't know what they're holding. We can look and try to see. We're going to be stocks and fund. Because it's a fund, right? If I remember correctly. See if we get any insight here. Nope. Oh, here we go. Oh, gotcha. I think I found them right here. Okay, so a lot in the financial sector. Large cap blends. I think I'm looking at the right one, right? Yeah, top 15 holdings. These guys pay out a dividend? Any thoughts on the future of Wish? What up, 92? Welcome back, man. I don't think I saw you last week. Good to see you back at the stream. I never look at funds like this. See if I do this, see what happens. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, I'll do Wish in a second. 92 right after I finish this. I like that chart. Don't tell me shit. Okay. I mean, it's pretty low risk stock if you're owning it, just because it's in there. You can look at it structurally to see how it looks. And this is mostly, I think, because there's so many financials ETFs within it. I think that's part of the reason why it's been underperforming lately. It's because there's so many financials, and financials haven't been doing so hot. And I think financials are going to have a little bit of more struggle before they potentially have a better outcome. Interest rates are still, I mean, they're going to all-time lows. And one thing that's really happening, really interesting, that you might want to take a look into is the reverse repo market. So basically how the reverse repo market goes is banks and financial institutions are willing to give the Fed their cash to hold on to notes that pay a really low interest rate. And so it's really interesting that banks are willing to do that right now, to give up all their free cash. So banks are pretty set on cash. You know, earnings just came out and banks looked really healthy, but they still sold off. And I think it's just, there's, you know, with interest rates low and things like that, I think they're not going to benefit from that right now. But, you know, if interest rates start moving up a little bit sooner than the Fed has originally wanted to, then things like banks are going to start benefiting from that. And it seems like a pretty big percentage of what the fund is kind of things in the financial space. So that's going to be something you want to look at. But yeah, it looks like we're between, I'll see where the 100-day is. I'm assuming the 100-day is right below this price. Yo, put that on the record. Put that on the record. I called that the 100-day would be right below the price before I did it. So yeah, it's just stuck between the MAs right now. So it might just stick like that. If we do see a little bit market turn down in the next couple weeks, continuation, you know, we might come down and test the 200 or the 100-day. But like I said, this is pretty low risk stock in terms of its movement. It's not one of these names they're going to move hundreds of percentages, or not hundreds, but like 5 to 10% in one day. That's just not what happens with this stock for the most part. You know, these are some of the biggest red candles, which are like 2% is like a really bad day. But yeah, I'll be looking at this 100-day to see if it can hold it on this downturn. And obviously you see this big support here. So if it can't hold this support, then let's see where the 200-day is. Yeah, probably not coming this low. So I would look at around 267 if it does break support, as there's another big support right there if it breaks below this zone. But yeah, pretty low risk. Wish. We can definitely go into Wish. And Nate, are you in the stream? Can you give me a thumbs up if so or not? I'm deciding if I need a post on StockTwits. Okay, I'm gonna post on StockTwits. You know what's funny about Wish? So I made a few videos on this stock and I posted them in StockTwits, and a couple people ate me alive. They're like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, this is an amazing company. Da 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 da. And I was like, I promise you, it's going lower. I promise you, it's going lower. Small cap is selling off. IPOs are going lower. You know, but you're gonna have haters. It's just what it is. Nobody likes when you say you're bearish on something. Who wants to lose money? I don't like losing money. I lose money in the markets like everybody. But let's see how we're looking. So on the daily, haters gonna hate, exactly, Cube. Here's the thing that's most frustrating. Now I'm gonna go on some rants because I've unlocked the rant box. So the reason that we started this stream is because of all these shitty people on the internet telling people to buy up all the time. Every time a stock dips, these freaking YouTubers are like, oh, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, without doing any analysis on the stock market, how the company's doing. Like, oh, they're projecting this many sales by 2025. Okay, that's a really long ways away. A lot can happen in a company in 4 years. And it's because they just don't have the experience of trading for years. This isn't my first rodeo. I've been practicing this for years. I've been doing this for years. But that's all my soapbox. I'm done now. So we have seen on sell-offs that the stock does like to drop back into oversold territory. 92. So we could see some more downside here. If you just hopped in, I've been kind of saying this for the whole stream, that if the market continues to turn red over the next couple weeks, which has been my prediction for a while, then all these stocks are going to go with it. We're in a market where everything follows the index. You know, typically stocks always follow the index, but it's even more than usual. Typically the index will go up and down, and you know, some stocks will follow it, but some stocks won't. Regardless of even what's happening with a company, they're moving with the index nowadays. And it's just because we have a lot new of retail investors. The market has soared up, so it's a lot more sensitive. There's a lot of fear in the market around a lot of things. So that really dictates a bearish sentiment. So technically it's not looking good. I just made a video today on my YouTube channel talking about the indexes and kind of diving into it. And we also made a stream last night on Stock Talk Game. Go watch that. We talk about market sentiment and kind of how that's impacting the market. But yeah, so this stock will definitely follow depending on how the market's moving. So this range is really important. Obviously, this is the all-time low for the stock. So that's what we're going to want to be keeping an eye on over the next couple weeks. I would say look for this RSI probably to get back to close to the oversold, if not the oversold territory. Unless it gets in a really bad place. It seems like it usually bottoms around 26 on the RSI. So kind of look for that 26 on the daily RSI. This is all technical, obviously. Doesn't really have to do with other aspects like fundamentals and things like that. So this stock can definitely move a little bit more violently to the bottom than others because there are some low cap names that are already in the oversold territory. This one's not. I'm assuming on the 4 hour that it is. Yeah, a lot of 4 hours. A lot of 4 hour charts are already in the oversold territory, but stocks can stay in oversold for a while. Just because it hits oversold doesn't mean that it's going to jump back up right away. It might do something like this, but it just keep going like this sideways, and that can mean the stock can continue to fall even though the RSI is going sideways. As you can see right here, you know, we saw back and forth and the stock continue to march higher. Same thing can go to the down. Same thing that can happen to the downside. It can stay low and the stock can go lower. So that's a couple things fundamentally. You know, we have this trend line. Doesn't look like we are wanting to break that. You know, we've tested it quite a few times. I would say something we should probably pay attention to. Let me go to the 1 hour. So we just tested the 20-day. So I usually look at the 20-day moving average. This isn't even EMA either. Let me get an EMA up here. So something I always look at as a 20-day as more of a momentum indicator for myself. Okay, they're in the same spot. And I usually look on either the 1 hour or the 4 hour. And so what you'll typically see is when a market's in a bull phase, it comes up above the 20-day, come back and touches it, goes back above, touches the 20-day, moves back up, touches the 20-day. And the opposite happens on the downside. So we pull away from the 20-day, come back up and touch it, pull away, come back and touch it, pull away, come back and touch it. So we just recently touched it. So we could have a little bit more downside before maybe we see a little spurt higher back to the 20-day. You know, maybe we'll test this range, this support area, and come back to the 20-day, which is around the trend line, or maybe a little bit higher, and then go back lower. But it all depends on how much lower the market goes. We can look at some fundamentals of the company, because that's also an important aspect. See how institutions are looking. Because I think if I remember correctly, and it's been a while since I looked at it, but I thought we had some institutions buying in a good amount on this stock. It was in the billions. I don't know. I mix up a lot of companies. Yeah. So, dang, those guys freaking bought at the IPO price. When was that? Q4 or Q1? Oh, I feel bad for those guys. Yeah, we have some bag holders back at the highs. That sucks. So we have some bag holders back here, which isn't great. So we'll have to see how Q3 trends. You know, if we're continuing to see people buying the billions worth, then maybe it's just, you know, because of the supply of IPOs. Do I still have that chart up? Nope, I took it down. Let me bring that back up. So this is the issue. Even though a company might be good, that's not the whole picture. You have to look at IPOs. So Wish is a recent IPO. They IPO'd Q4 last year, and we're at the highest IPOs that we've ever had since the dot-com bubble. So like, what does that tell you? That means that Wish has to compete against 600 other IPOs and the 500 other SPACs that have come out just this year. And so there's just a lot of supply, and when there's too much supply, then you know, that has a negative momentum on the stock. If I'm trying to remember the valuation on this guy, let's look at Ticker. Thank you, Ticker, for access for the platform. Shout them out. Let's look at estimates. So I think I did a video on Wish. Let me bring that up. Ooh, giving you the back end stuff. I'm gonna switch screens. This Wish video, because did I just do one Wish video? I did a video on Wish, and I covered their financials. Oh, shoot, I don't remember if this was the right video, but take a look at this. I covered more of the financials of the company. And, you know, they're seeing some growth out here, which is a positive, but they're still EBITDA negative. So EBITDA negative is different than net income negative. So they're not even making money even after all their other expenses they have. Like there's a lot of other things that happen after EBITDA. So like if we look at the detailed finances, net income is only growing. You know, last year when it was COVID, you think that would have been good for the company, but their net income has grown even larger to the negative side. And so let's see how much cash they have. I feel like they don't have, they have a bit of cash. They had 1.9 billion, I think that's $1 billion, as of the IPO, but I don't know if they've already used some of that to help grow the business. So those aren't the best things. Their ratios are not even pretty at all. These are really terrible. I don't even want to dive into that. But yeah, so I would say there are some negatives. They're going to have to finance growth somehow. They're probably going to bleed through a lot of their cash. You know, I could definitely see them bleeding through $1 billion just this year to finance the company. Yeah, they have a $5 billion valuation, and next year they're projected to do $3 billion. So not terrible, but this is the issue, as I just said. They're burning so much cash to grow. So a lot of times it might be deceiving when you see, oh my gosh, this company's growing by 30% or blah, blah, blah. But how much marketing money or expenses are they having to use to get that growth? That's something that you really have to look at for these companies. And showing that they, in 2020, almost spent $1 billion or didn't spend $1 billion, but they went negative $1 billion in 2020, when the company should have succeeded them more than ever, which you see, you know, revenue up 30%, which is decent. But with everybody going e-commerce and going online, that should have helped their business even more. But we do see their net income decreased by over 400%. Might be something else going on, but that's not a great thing for that stock. Seeing that happen. Did someone else put a stock in here? I don't know if this is an actual company or is this FAMI a company? Cube. Let's Google what it is. I feel like someone brought this name up before, actually. Oh, Cube, maybe you did. I feel like, Cube, were you here a while ago and you asked about FAMI? I'm trying to remember, because someone asked about this Chinese farming company a long time ago. I didn't really have much knowledge on them. Let's see if Ticker has any info for us. See if we have any. Nope, no valuation. So pretty flat over the last couple of years. Do you know anything on how trading cryptocurrency works? Hello, Akio. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, what specific questions? That's a super broad question. Anything specific with crypto? That could mean a lot of things. Is that how to buy or where to buy? Or are you wanting to invest and you're not sure where to invest? If you have FAMI at 31 cents. Okay. I mean, seems like a pretty good entrance price. I don't know when you bought that. You either bought that really long time ago or you bought it on this more recent dip. In general, need a brief explanation trying to get into investing. Well, I would definitely say join our Discord if you want to get more. Ooh, I did it right. On the dip. Nice. Seems like a good dip down there. I don't know. What is this trade for you, Cube? Is this like something that you want to invest in the long term? Is it just a swing trade? What is this investment for you? But Akia, I'll just call you 69, whatever. I didn't want to call you that, but I'll call you it. Yeah, join our Discord. We are posting things in there often. So you can definitely help, ask people questions there about investing, and kind of like bounce questions off there. We have some chats about crypto in there, so I would take a peek at that. And then I'll jump into crypto a little bit more in just a second. And actually, let me put one more thing. If you want to open, I would say the best place to invest crypto is on Coinbase. I think it's the safest for anybody new. So click that link, and I think you get $5 free of Bitcoin when you join through that link. And we'll talk a little bit more about crypto in a second. Yeah, swing trade. Yeah, that's what it's really low volume company. I don't know why they dropped here. Do you know why they dropped from 70 cents down to 30 cents? My guess is that they did. I'm gonna have the wrong thing up. My guess is that they did a share offering or something. That would be my best guess, but I don't know. Offering, yeah. Like I said, it ain't my first rodeo. Whenever you see a drop like that in a penny stock, it most likely did an offering. I mean, like fundamentally, what up, Duix? Check out any dealers. OTC, which I dislike, but the recent run is bonkers. Okay, yeah, I'll look at it in a second. I don't like when companies that maybe, you know, I guess you'd have to look into why did they do a share offering. I wanted the gap fill. Yeah. Bring up this. Gotcha. Oh, yeah, you could have. It's hard, man. I see this happen sometimes where the stock will start moving into positive momentum, and then you're like, wait, what the hell? Why didn't it gap fill? And what you really need to do is just because something breaks into a gap doesn't mean that it will fill the gap. It's not 100% all the time. And so you really got to look into past history and figure out why the heck could it not fill the gap? And look at the chart. Look what we just found out together. So looking at the chart, this is definitely one reason why it didn't fill the gap. Let's see if we have like a 100-day or 200-day or something up there too. Does not look like we have any SMAs. We can check the 50-day, see if the 50-day is that low. 50-day might be around there. Aha! Not ironic at all, is it? Telling you guys, when you're analyzing stocks, use trend lines, support, resistance, and SMAs. Literally, I said, look, it doesn't always fill the gap. Look what we found. We found very significant resistance. We have from June all the way to September of consolidation, and that's now resistance. That's going to be extremely hard for that stock to break over that price. But not only did we have extreme resistance there, we also had the 50-day SMA basically on the T. Let's look at the EMA to see if we actually, you know, hit it all together, because the 50-day might be a little bit lower than the oh, look at that. It's like I'm a fortune teller or something. The EMA, 50-day EMA, is even right below it. And so it couldn't get above that really major resistance area from the past. It's even more resistance than that. You have from January to March, you have a ton of resistance. And then from June all the way to September, you have a ton of resistance. This whole range, it couldn't break above. And so until it breaks above that range, is the top of the range. Oh, ironically enough, the top of the range is also the gap. Oh, there's the gap fill. It's so funny when you chart and the picture starts making sense. That's why I love doing this. I'm a freaking nerd, everybody. But yeah, so that's what we're seeing there. Gap fill. Yeah, man, on this is, if you had bought at 30 cents, did you buy on 30 cents back in May? Is that when you bought it? Because on swing trades, like when a stock went from 30 cents to 60 cents, this is when you got to start thinking about putting either a really solid stop loss, or, oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart. What's the freaking stop loss called where you set a percentage under depending on how the price moves? Oh man, trailing. Thank you, Cube. Trailing stop loss. These are situations where you want to start considering that, because that's a 100% move. Like, very rare, unless you're trading penny stocks and you're a pro, like you very rarely get 100% moves unless you're going really hard in this. And so that's where you got to start thinking about stop losses or trailing stop losses to take in some of that profit. So that's definitely a lesson for the future. Moving forward, it's hard to tell. You know, it tried to break into that and it's come back to this consolidation zone. So in the best case scenario, it just stays here for a while longer and then gets pumped higher. The worst case is they do another offering at some point. You know, nobody wants that. But we are seeing, you know, pretty significant support down here. So if this breaks, you know, you have it at 30 cents. That's like a perfect buy on that dip. Moves hard on news. Yeah, I'm assuming it has pretty low shares. Yeah. I remember us talking about this last time. only has 17 million shares. I don't know how big the share offering was and how much they increased that, increased their float. Let's see, what does it say? 52 million. So that's like 60 million more shares or something, maybe. 21 million. So yeah, still a really tiny float. You know, they only have a 40 million float. So whenever a company has such a low float of shares, those things just rocket all the time off any news. But it also can rocket to the downside on news too. But I mean, they look like they're doing all right on valuation, you know, 8 PE ratio. I don't know how much cash they have and what they're using that cash to finance. Like, why does this company need 42 million? I don't know. But it does look like they do offerings a decent amount of time. They have another $7 million offering for some reason. Who knows? So that would be the only concern with this one, is more share offerings and more negative movement on the stock. But I could definitely see this company going sideways for a while. Okay, anybody have any more stock questions? Please put it in the chat. If you haven't subbed, please do support the stream. If you have Amazon Prime, then you can sub for free and that would support. And if you don't have Amazon Prime, you can also just sub and be a homie. But if not that, join the Discord, follow the Twitch, and sub on my YouTube channel, Chill Deal Trades. I upload daily videos there to keep you in tune what's happening in the market. Okay. Mr. 69 or Mrs. 69, you still here? I don't see in the chat. Let me know if you're still here and I will do it. Okay, I don't know if this platform will bring up OTC stocks. Oh, they do. Oh, Lord Jesus. What did these guys... Oh, I have the wrong screen. What did these guys... This is berserkers. Any insight on this? Ducks? Oh, you were in the stream yesterday, weren't you? I think you were. I don't know what to call you. I always come up with little nicknames for people. Bab. I'll just call you Bab. That's easier. Okay. What happened with these fools? Netlist. What do you do, Netlist? Hello. Yeah, hello. We'll call you Bab. Babu is gold. Oh, Babu, that works. I don't know why in my mind was reading that as baby with a U and Y, and I was like, I'm not gonna call you baby, that's weird. And so I just called you Bab, and I realized that it says Babu instead. That's funny. What's up, David? I'll get to that in a second. We're looking at this fun stock. I mean, I'm not buying it. That's insane. OTCs can run like berserkers. Was that 1,000%? Jesus. Oh, they got a lawsuit. I see these things happen all the time, these lawsuits. Let's get into the toxic world of StockTwits. The only good thing on StockTwits are the posts from me. A judge upheld the patent rights. Oh, wow. Let's see what these guys say. Anything here? Actually, let's see if FinViz, they'll probably have the news listed somewhere. No, they're not showing it for us. Let's see if we can see something fun here. Lawsuit over... What's the patent anyway? Is it something important for Google? Google will probably just pay them to use the patent. Like, that's all that's going to happen. That's crazy, but they'll probably get a big payout from Google. That's probably why it shot up. Yeah, that's crazy. I see this happen all the time with OTC stocks. They like have some patent that they created years ago, and then some tech company just shoves them and is like, whatever, we're going to do whatever we want. And then obviously it backfires. So for sometimes it backfires, and then this big company ends up having to pay out a, you know, they'll have a lawsuit where they'll make millions of dollars, and then Google will end up having to, oh wow, it's basically the software underwriting the search engine. That's insane. I'm assuming that Google's just probably going to pay them some kind of dividend or some kind of rights to giving them some money. That's my guess. But I don't know. I'd have to go into a little bit more research to fully understand that one. 69, not in the chat, right? Nope. Okay. Let me know when you're back, 69. I'll cover some crypto. Okay, what do we have here? We have, what stock was this? ATT. Will it run after Space Jam? I don't think so. This is not the right stock. It's T, Dylan. I don't think it will run. The court battle's taken. Oh my lord. That's insane. I mean, if you were a freaking diligent investor for the last 10 years, it paid off probably. Actually, probably not. They were still pretty high back then. I mean, if you bought it, looks like they had another run. This is what's so ironic. I mean, it could just find another peak here. That's freaking crazy. Look at this chart. This is too funny. I have to look at it real quick. Did it hit the same high? Oh my gosh, within like 30 cents of the same high. It could go higher though because, you know, the court actually approved it this time. But that's absolutely hilarious. I don't think it will bounce off of because of Space Jam. Are there any preliminary results coming from how well it did? HBO's. Wait, they're not selling it on HBO though, right? Isn't it free? Right, David? I thought HBO has, yeah, it's free, Jake, right? They're not making, it's not, this ain't Disney Plus where they're charging people $30 for a movie. They ain't making no more money on this. Like, that's just giving, like, there's nothing that's going to benefit them from putting it on HBO Plus besides maybe people signing up to watch it. I doubt people are signing up on HBO Max to watch Space Jam. Unless they're like a super LeBron fan, they're probably not doing that. I don't think they're gonna get a bump from it. They need to take the advice of Disney Plus because Disney Plus made $60 million from that Black Widow movie or whatever it's called. That's crazy. That's a lot of revenue. I think they said they made $80 million from the box office and then $60 million from viewing on Disney Plus, which is insane. Disney Plus, they smart, and people are willing to pay $30 to watch it with their family. I mean, it makes sense. It's cheaper than going to the movies. You have 2 kids. Say you have 3 kids. That's 5 tickets. 5 tickets at the movie theater is like $50-$60 plus popcorn plus snacks. It's $100. Or you can buy on Disney Plus for $30. Disney's a smart freaking company. They have a bunch of free openings. Day movie, yeah. Maybe. But maybe not. You know? Because, like, how many subs do you need to make $60 million? That's the question. What's the payoff? What's the payoff difference? Do you think Shen Technology is going to crater after the special dividend payout? I don't know. I have no idea what the company is. But we can look into it. AT&T, no. I do like, because AT&T is, I don't like AT&T as a company because of HBO Max no longer becoming part of the company. So if you don't know, whoever wrote that, David, AT&T is basically selling off the HBO part of the company and they're merging with Discovery. So to make like a new company, and I actually like Discovery, even though they had this drama that happened, you know, people being over leveraged and it going down, but Discovery plus HBO under the same company, there's a lot of debt, but I'm starting to look for companies that have really low PE ratios. Man, I'm giving y'all nuggets for free. At least throw a little sub at the channel. But I'm looking for companies that are getting and growing in the digital, Netflix type space, streaming service, that are seeing a lot of growth. So HBO seeing a lot of growth. Yeah, HBO Max. Yeah, exactly. HBO Max and Discovery now under the same company. People who love Discovery, I think it's Discovery. Yeah, Discovery. People who love Discovery. They're gonna buy that shit. They're gonna watch it all the time. And HBO Max, I think they're doing a good job of growing their content. And you know, I think HBO has better TV shows than Netflix, personally speaking. And a lot of people like HBO for that reason. They like their shows. So I like the Discovery and HBO Max coming under the same company, which their ticker changes sometime in the near future. I don't know what that is. But I think if you buy Discovery shares, then all your shares go to the new one. But if you buy AT&T, only a portion of your shares go to the new company. That's off the top of my head, so I'm not sure. But yeah, I'll be looking at Discovery Plus. If we get or Discovery Plus, Discovery, if they pull back a little bit more, back to this support zone around 25, I'll be buying for a long-term hold. I think they have a P ratio of like 10 right now. Super low, low valuation. And I don't think Discovery has a dividend right now, but I think there's a chance that they start a dividend once they merge with HBO Plus, because I know AT&T has a little bit higher than that, 19. But with HBO coming over, I think that can have a positive move on the valuation as their revenue grows from the two platforms. But yeah, that's what I'm keeping my eye on. Okay, let's get to Shen. Let's look it up because we're here. So Shen, Mr. Babu, what is the company? And if everyone's still here in the chat, appreciate you sticking around this long. I have fun hanging out with you guys on Sunday nights, just shooting the shit and looking at stocks and things. I thoroughly enjoy it, so I love doing it with you guys. Okay, Shen Telecommunication Company. So what's the strategy on this trade, Babu? Is it a long-term, short-term hold? Are you trying to swing trade it? You want to hold it for the next 5 years? You want to hold it for the next 1 year? Detail that out for me. And while you do that, I'm going to look at the company a little bit because I don't know anything about them. I do think the telecommunication space, if I remember correctly, they've been sucking really bad lately as an industry or a sector of the market compared to other sectors. Okay. So they've definitely shrunk as a company, but they're starting to make a little bit of a comeback, so that's positive. They're basically rural telecommunications. Gotcha. Announced a special dividend of $18. What do you mean $18? What do you mean special dividend? They're paying out $18 for everyone who has a share, or it's just a one-time payment, $18? Probably a one-time payment. Had to purchase by July 9th, I think. Gotcha. So you're asking, will they crater after? I mean, it's hard to tell. I don't know enough information about this company. Let me look them up here. Pays out August 3rd. Let's look at the charts. Obviously, they've been on a pretty crazy... Oh, they've run quite a bit. Basically uphill since 2012. Very interesting. Especially, that's a little surprising, because when I look at their finances, they have shrunk quite a bit in their revenue. So it's interesting that they've gone up regardless of their revenue shrinking. Yeah, they make less money. That's interesting. I don't know why they've been going up. Maybe people buy them because of the dividend. $18 per share. What the fuck? They must be rolling in dough or something, dude. What the heck? Let's see how they look in comparison to their... Oh, no competitors listed. Okay. I mean, all their books and everything look really good. Like, these are solid numbers. Like 11 times revenue. That's good. EBITDA's a little hot based on their current valuation, but... Alright, I'm looking at the wrong year. 40 times EBITDA is a little high, but nothing worrisome. Traded pretty flat for the last 6 months until announcement. Gotcha. So is it a swing trade for you? I'm assuming you own it right now, and that's why you're trying to figure out if it's worth selling after that. What up, Tress? Yeah, I'll definitely cover Love. Is that Lovesac? I remember keeping an eye on them back in the day. I'll do that after I cover Shen. But yeah, Babu, you're trying to figure out if you want to sell it. And if you don't sell it, then is it a long-term hold? See the expectations for the company. I mean, they're going to have some more growth, which is positive. Obviously, 2020 was a tough year for everybody. Revenue growth is good, 10%. It's not bad. They have been shrinking, which is strange. I've been dropping all my shares early. I mean, if you're paying $18 a share out, I'll take my money and run. For sure. Like, if you own 4 shares, that's an easy win after, you know, going sideways for the last 6 months. I'll take that. Yeah, they've gone sideways. Oh, yeah, they did massively go up. Wow. And that makes sense. People sold out at this peak. Now, why would they sell out if they have... Do they have to hold it till the 3rd? Maybe that's why people sold out. I'm not sure. Then picking up a little after the dip, yeah. What are the stipulations? So, is there, as long as you held it before July 9th, you could sell it now and still get the special dividend? Because if that's the case, I mean, that makes sense why people sold out here. They sold out on that rip higher. Or the reverse case is people bought after July 9th around here and they just held it for the rip higher and then sold out. So that's the other option. But yeah, I mean, I think in worst case scenario, it looks like this just wants to consolidate. There's nothing really telling me that it's not going to consolidate. So, but yeah, I mean, I get taking why you want to take your profits and run. What's your average cost? What do you own it at? And while Babu gets back to me, if you haven't subbed, if you haven't liked and followed the stream, please do. That helps support this. I'm not getting paid to do this, so all of your support is helpful. And if you're not in the Discord yet, join the Discord. It's growing slowly. I think we got like 40-something people in there now. Let's see. How many people do we have in this Discord? Yeah, we got like 40, 50 people. Good job, everybody. We're growing this group. Exciting. Let's look technically speaking. Let's do a quick technical analysis of this thing. See how it's looking. I mean, if you want to put like a stop loss or something, that's, you know, a potential option just to not risk too much to the downside. But if you bought it at 52 right before the special dividend, and this is not a company you believe in and you don't want to hold for the long term, take that dividend and dip, bro. You know, I would have to do more. This is more of a value play, so I would have to look more at the financials, the growth, the expectations, things like that to see if it's worth a hold. They're pretty low PE ratio, 15. I don't know what industry average is. Pretty low dividend, so you're not really holding it for that. But yeah, it looks like they've basically gone sideways for the last year. Yeah, basically for the last year. So 2 years, last 2 years. So I could imagine some more sideways action. Take your dividend, bro. Oh, wrong tab. Take your dividend and bounce. Okay. Okay, Mr. Where's your name? Trez. What's your... You gotta tell me some info. Do you already own the stock? What's your buy-in price? Is it a company you want to hold long term, or you're just swing trading it? I need to know the facts to help you figure out what's going on. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, so this is just for educational purposes. Just recently purchased. Gotcha. Sorry, I got a sneeze coming, everybody. Thank you, Trez, for the follow, by the way. Appreciate it. Woo! If you have Amazon Prime, please sub as well. The support is appreciated. Woo! Something's hitting me. Jesus. Woo! And if you haven't already, follow
Hello
my
there.
YouTube channel.
Thanks for stopping by the channel.
Showbill Trades
My
daily
name
videos for everybody. Okay, so you just bought. So I would say the biggest negative right now is that we are seeing the indexes sell off, and I believe that Love is either in the Russell 2000 or the SPY 500 minis, and so this stock is probably going to follow that pretty closely. My phone died, so I can't see where the futures are. Let me check. Let me see if the IWM and the market's still selling off. I know they were selling off before. Anybody got updates on the futures? Here we go, investing.com. This is where I can see the futures. I don't know how to use this site. Down, gotcha. So if we see more downside in the futures this week, so all those who've been hanging around, allergies are you got in at, I got in at 63 on Love. Okay, where's 63? Okay, that's unfortunate. So you got in around this level right here. So we are kind of entering a consolidation zone, which is a good thing because that means there's a lot of support. The con is that it's a pretty big gap of support. So it's between 60 and 50, basically. So that's a big range. You know, that's what is that, 20%? That's a 20% range. So if we continue to see the markets move lower, that's what you're going to want to keep an eye on, is kind of coming back into this consolidation zone. Unless the markets go down another 10-15%, which is unlikely at this point, but who knows? But that's more unlikely. Then we'll probably come back into somewhere in this consolidation zone, back into the next couple weeks. You know, somewhere, something like this maybe. This is all, you know, guesses. We are coming up on the 200-day, which is going to be pretty big support. You know, when we go in the past, we had a pullback here back in October. This is when we had the markets move lower right before the big run. Basically, the market hasn't moved down too substantially since October. And back then we bounced off the 200-day. And so I'm going to be looking for a 200-day bounce, which is at 57. And if it goes below 57, then we still have a lot of support in this consolidation zone. It's going to take a lot of bear volume or a really big negative news to push the stock below this support zone. There's so many candles. There's so many people that bought here. There's so much support that it's pretty low chance that it's going to break below this. But we'll just have to see how much the markets sell off. If we see the markets sell off a lot, then the chances increase in breaking below that. But from our current price, that would be a 20% move lower. And that's going to be pretty hard to do. But you never know. Technically speaking, RSI is already pretty low, so it's going to be hard to move lower, 20% lower, with how low RSI already is. I'm assuming if we go to the 4-hour candle, it's going to be oversold already. But we do see RSI can get pretty low on this stock. Back in October, November, we saw it go to 15, so we could see RSI move back down to 15 range, which would probably either pull it to the 200-day or somewhere to the mid 50s. That'd be my guess. But this is all based on if the markets continue to move lower. Like, for any of your investments, you're really just going to keep an eye on how the indexes are moving. So yeah, I don't have any training or like videos on my channel yet, but what I would look up videos on is moving averages. I'll type it in the chat for you. Moving averages, RSI, and support and resistance. Those are the three things that I would dive heavy in. There's going to be a lot of people out there that tell you, oh, use MACD, which is another good one, but that's a little more advanced. Use the Ichimoku cloud, use Fibonacci's, use this, use that. Stick with these three things to start out. Get these down really, really well. Keep practicing for years. For the next year, just focus on these three. These will help you on the technical side of things. But yeah, support range right here. So look for the 200-day at 57, and then support in the mid-range around 55 to 56, and there should be a pretty good support in that range. I'll have to keep an eye on this. I'm probably going to set an alert for this stock. Obviously, we've seen a massive move from $4, so that's a pretty massive move. But I think Love has moved up pretty substantially as well. We've seen Love move up pretty substantially, but I'm guessing that it's because they've had great revenue growth. Are you just trying to swing trade it, or you want to hold it long term? Trades, just wondering. Because we'll go to I tend to be longer term guy. Gotcha. Yeah, so as I mentioned, that kind of support range is probably a good range to look at. And let's take a peek at if institutions are buying or not. I'm curious. I always like to look at institutions to see if I like to follow the money. I mean, we have a lot of people cash out, but obviously the stock went from $4 to $70, so people are going to take their profits. So I think coming into Q3, this is a site I always use to look at institutional buying. It's called MarketBeat. And we're going to have to see how Q3 starts to pan out over the next couple months. If we continue to see more buying, then that's a good long-term bet. We have a lot of people jumping in. It's been a couple months that anybody substantially has bought into the company. Ooh, that was a weird burp. But we do see some more buying over the last couple weeks. Green is new positions. Some of them are pretty small. But regardless, we have some adding of positions. We have new positions. I don't know why that's a negative. Green is supposed to be a new position. So, some profit taking, but some new positions, so that's good. I think what looks pretty good on this stock is the revenue growth expectations if you're looking long term. Whether we think the stock should be worth $60 a share, that's a whole nother question. 42 PE ratio is not bad for a company that's growing at 30% year over year. That's pretty substantial. I think their growth has slowed down, but that's a really big growth. And they're EBITDA positive, so they have big margins on their products. I think they're net income positive too if we go to the detailed finances, because their balance sheet said their gross profits. How's net income? No. Yeah, so this year they went net income positive, probably from the growth of e-commerce. I'm pretty sure Lovesac is just e-commerce company, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I mean, getting net profit positive, that's a good sign. Analysts are expecting it to continue to go, their revenue continue to grow at like a 30-40% rate over the next few years. That's pretty good. So they're profitable. Their revenue is growing by 40%. Their PE ratios may be a little high at 42, but for a company growing at 37%, you know, not terrible. Let me go back, see what their valuation. Yeah, their market cap's only $1 billion. They're under $1 billion valuation. Like I said, maybe a little hot right now, but the stock has pulled back a lot. You know, they peaked out at $90 and now they're at 60. So they've come down. What is that? 30. More than 30%. Was that 40% or something? So they pulled back pretty substantially. But long term, I mean, there's a lot of pros here. You know, company that's making money that's only has 300 million revenue. So being that they can grow at 30%, 40%, and they can be net income positive is a really big plus. There's a lot of companies out there that can't do that. So that's a big positive. But we'll have to see if they hit these expectations. These are just expectations. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. But if we continue to see, growth margin, that's not bad. I would honestly wish these margins were a little bit bigger, but 53% is not bad. All being said. Let's look at their valuation. See if they have any competitors. Oh, we do have some competitors. Oh, so these guys, future earnings, they're saying at 83. I don't know if this PE is correct, but they are a bit more expensive than some of their counterparts, but their counterparts are also these more traditional companies like La-Z-Boy and stuff, so maybe not that relevant. Revenue, 2 times revenue, that's super healthy. Revenue to value, that's a really big positive. EBITDA, 40, that's not bad. A little high, but not too bad. Where is... So there's some positives. I don't mind the company. But again, like I said, their valuation might be a little rich, especially if we're coming to a risk kind of environment where people are getting a little more hesitant of these more high growth names, even though this is not a tech company necessarily. But anyway, anything Russell 2000, I think the market's getting a little more speculative about and considering if it's still worth the investment. But like I said, we're breaking into support. If the market continues downturn, we'll break into the support range, and we'll be looking at support around $55 to $57 or $58, and that might be a buy. I have to keep this on my watch list as a buy, going into the end of July. You know, somewhere out. You know, maybe it might do something like this: bounce off the 200-day. You know, maybe come a little higher, come to trend line, come back down. Maybe it won't go that low, but where's the end of July? We're pretty close to that. So yeah, something like this maybe. This would be the best case scenario, something like that. Take a picture. If this becomes right, I'm a fortune teller. Okay, we've been on live for 2 hours. I will take one more stock and then I'm going to hop off, everybody. If anybody has a stock, please put it. Again, everybody, if you have Amazon Prime, please sub to the channel and the support. Like I said, no one's paying me to do this. This is just to grow the group and the community. No problem, Trez. I've been trading for the last 10 years, and I don't want you guys to fall into the same pit holes I had to learn the hard way, learning by myself. And so my trading journey really started changing when I found a community of people. That's why we started the Discord, to grow a community of people who can learn and make money together. So if you haven't already, I'll put it, it's right up in the chat. Link to the Discord. A sub would be amazing. A follow on the YouTube page, daily videos.
Hello there. Thanks for stopping by the channel.
We appreciate it.
My name is Dylan, and this is Chill Deal Trades.
I love
I
that.
make daily videos.
Tasty. But yep. What stocks are on your watch list? Ooh, I'm gonna give you away the sauce for free. Okay. Even though you guys are not subs, I'm feeling generous on this Sunday, the Lord's Day. So I kind of mentioned it before, but I just made a video on my YouTube page about the index and where I think the index is headed. AMC, yeah, that's my favorite stock. How'd you know? I just made this video if you haven't watched it already. I saw some people had some views on it, so maybe you have, but I did an overview of the markets, and then I did this other video a couple weeks ago where I actually nailed the top of the market. So guys, follow the content. I'm not making things up. This is real analysis. But so yeah, in my personal opinion, on the analysis that I've done, I think we have a couple more weeks of downside for the market, somewhere maybe into the end of July, early September or August. Sorry. Okay, GME. Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad for those AMC people. I think we covered it last week, and I was like, I'm not buying that. I think SPC E2. I made a video. I was like, I'm not holding SPC. Do not own it. But whatever. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so we broke out below. We haven't broke this trend line yet. We broke this trend line on the SPY, and we're breaking lower in the futures. To my understanding, I haven't looked in the last 2 hours, but we're breaking lower there. So what I'm keeping an eye on is for the SPY to get back to this. Ooh, excuse me. On the daily to get back to about 43, because it's kind of started this trend that every time we have a pullback, it goes back to around this 43 level. And you know, history rhymes with the future, so something in the future might also happen. And so kind of drawing trend lines out and using moving averages, it seems like that somewhere around, where's the price breakout? Somewhere between, can't remember the numbers that I put out. So on the most small downside, you know, the market might come back down to 425. On the larger end, I have 410 to 405. Mostly because we have the 50-day that's 100-day. Where's the 50-day? Let me redo this. So we have the 50-day up here, and then we have the 100-day back here at 410. So I'm thinking somewhere between a 5 to 10% correction in the SPY and the NASDAQ, like QQQs. So as I'm thinking might happen sometime into end of July kind of range, early August. The names I'm looking at are for different reasons. Oh man, I'm giving you all the juice for free. So I'm looking for PLTR to pull back into this range. If it comes back here, I'll be buying the dip for a swing trade. I still think that there can be more long-term downside for these names, but for a swing trade, I'm looking for a buy back into this area. So that's one name I'm looking at for more short term. Ford stock is one I'm looking at. So I have 20K ready to go. Nice. I'm looking at Ford for a pullback. This is a company that, unless something really bad happens in the economy, Ford, I think, is doing a good job of turning their business around, especially with the EV side starting to gain some steam. They trade at a really low multiple. I think it's like an 8 PE ratio. Obviously, there's like a lot of supply issues going on right now and things like that. But I'm looking for a pullback somewhere between $13 and $11. I'll just have to see how hard the market pulls back. $11 is more unrealistic, but somewhere between 13. My GM stock has been crap lately. RP on Firebolts, yeah. So somewhere between 12 and 13 is kind of a zone I'll be looking for, and I'll just be setting a stop loss in case it continues to break lower. Like I'll probably be looking for around 12, and then if it goes lower to 11, I'll be doubling down, and then I'll put a stop loss right under 11, because if it breaks below 11, then it breaks below 200-day, and that's going to be a lot of negative momentum for the stock. But I just made a video on this, so like I said, guys, everything I'm literally giving so much juice away on my videos. So we're in a 5-way Elliott down. I don't do a whole lot of options. Nate does a lot of options, and if Nate's listening, he can probably throw something. We covered it in the stream actually, I think yesterday. So go watch that. It's towards the end of the stream. We talked about it, but I think we're in a 5-way down right now. And once we finish that 5-way, I think some movement to the upside will happen. But it'll just have to see how big this 5-wave down. Well, shoot, what's this ticker? Walgreens. I don't remember the ticker. So I'm looking at this is more long-term hold, so I'm getting some of the long-term names. So negatively speaking, we broke below the 200-day, but if we get some really nasty negative downside down to somewhere in this 43, because right here we have like a pretty big move higher, so if we break back down, we're going to have a pretty violent move back to the downside here. We could easily move back down to 43 pretty quick. So if Walgreens gets somewhere between this 43 to 41 range, 42, I'll be buying it kind of around that price live during the day. No, I don't do live streams during the day. I got to work. This is not my full-time job. Like I mentioned, everything I'm doing here, I'm not making no money. This is just to build the community and hopefully make money together in the market. So no, I got a 9 to 5 that I do. I don't day trade anymore. I used to day trade, not anymore. Day trade's just not for me. I don't have enough discipline. I'm too emotional of a person to day trade. So yeah, I'll be looking at, this is just a long-term pickup, and this is a little bit of an insurance against COVID. If COVID starts shutting things down again, essential business is Walgreens and CVS, and so they'll stay open. They'll be one of the few stores that would stay open again if we get to that extreme, as well as they have the COVID testing sites or COVID shot sites, and so they're building up customer base through that. And I think COVID shots are going to stick around for the next couple of years. We're gonna be getting booster shots for at least the next 2-3 years, in my opinion. And so this is a long-term bet on a bigger pullback. What is up, 8? Thanks for coming by. What are some other stocks I'm looking at? If NNDM comes back to $4 in this pullback, I'll be swing trading on a pullback to $4. So $4 is this really, or I guess more like $5. So $4 to $5, I'll be buying. Yeah, I'll say $5 to $4 range is where I'll be buying in on NNDM for a short-term swing trade. I'll be putting a stop loss because this is a highly speculative name. But if we pull back to this range, what I could suspect is a move higher somewhere into this $7 range. I don't think we'll break back above here, in my personal opinion. We've failed so many times. But I could see a move from like $4 to $6, $7, or $5 to $6, $7, and that's like a 40% gain, so I'll take that. Those are higher risk trades. I gotta think what else is on my wish list. Those are just a couple. I don't got anything else, but those are a couple I'm looking at. Can you talk about Doge? What about Doge? This will be my last thing. What specific questions about Doge? I don't like Doge. I do not recommend it, so I'm super negative on it. Obviously, if the crypto space breaks back up, Dogecoin will move with it. But I rather own ADA, which is Cardano. I rather own Ethereum. There's some other small coins that I rather own over Dogecoin. So I am not a Dogecoin buyer. This is not the right company either, is it? Doge to the dollar. There we go. This is the right chart. Why do I only have a year of data? This is not correct. Let me see if I can do something. There we go. So in my personal opinion, I would buy ADA or something instead. That's one that I would look at to buy. Dogecoins could be successful if they rework the entire network, but Dogecoin is not built to be successful in terms of as a cryptocurrency. The supply is too high. There's nothing really special about the mechanics of it. It's not really built to be successful. It's built to be a meme, and I don't want to speculate on what could happen. You never know what could happen, but I want to invest in companies or cryptos, which are basically companies. I want to invest in cryptos that are showing promise about making money and a positive impact on decentralizing things. So ADA is one I would suggest looking at instead. And real quick, last note, because I keep going, but this is for sure it. Crypto is making a decision in 2 weeks. Just like the market, we're going to see what happens in the next couple weeks. Crypto's either heading lower or it's going to break higher. So we've been in a descending triangle essentially since this break lower, and we're getting closer and closer to this corner. So in the next 2 weeks, we're either going to see one final break lower, and if Bitcoin breaks down, everything else is breaking down, or there's a high probability we break up, maybe back to the 40K range. Might consolidate around there, but it's most likely one of those two scenarios. Could always go sideways a little longer, but I'm less of that bias. I think we've been building up, coiling a lot, so when it goes back and forth a lot into a corner of a triangle, there's typically a really violent decision to the upside or the downside. And so around this July 30th mark, crypto is going to make a decision. And I'm not a financial advisor, so don't go off what I'm telling you to do. If this breaks down to 24 range, which I think is doable, this is not even this is the wrong chart, but if Bitcoin goes back down to the 24 range, which is where this consolidation is, Bitcoin USD, here we go. Same chart, just wrong numbers. Depending on what graph you want to look at. But regardless, we're coiling into this corner. And so it's doing something. And if for some reason this comes back to 24, which is this consolidation zone, that's looking really tasty. And the same thing with ADA. So Cardano, I always say it wrong, Cardano. Same thing, we're coiling, we're coming into a decision point. Cardano's been holding up a little bit better when we look at the charts, but still it's coiling into a decision, and the decision's happening very soon. And if Cardano comes down into this coil and breaks lower, same thing. If it breaks down, this I would say somewhere in either the 80 cent range. If it goes lower, then it's going a lot lower, back to 60 or 50. And then Ethereum's the same thing. I think it's like 13 to 1500, I think, is the range I'd be looking at that. Ethereum, US dollar. So we're about right here in this range. So if we break down 1500, if we go lower 1200, that's a tasty zone in my opinion. But not a financial advisor. I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah, things start getting tasty at a lower price. If there's a super high freak out, I love buying when people freak out, and that's what I will be doing there. But that's gonna end the stream, guys. Thanks for coming by. A lot of people hopped in today, so I really appreciate it. And if you're still here, please follow the stream if you haven't already. If you have Amazon Prime, please sub to the page. I do not day trade full time. I take 2 hours of my night to help you guys understand what's going on in the market with your trades so that we can all make some money. So any support is very appreciated. I've already kind of talked about it earlier, but I have a YouTube channel. Make daily videos.
Hello
there.
there.
If you
Thanks for stopping by the channel. My name is Dylan, and this is Chilled.
Yeah, man. Babu, thanks for coming by, man. I definitely appreciate it. But good night, everyone. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you guys. Come to the Discord. Come chat in there with us. People are being scared of chatting in the Discord. Don't hold back, guys. Ask your questions. Bring up stocks if you're looking at things. The more activity in the Discord means we have more ideas as a community, which means we can all potentially make more money. You know, so please be active in the Discord. It helps us all make more money. More brains looking at one thing means we'll have a higher probability of know what's going on. Thank you, NUR, for the follow. I appreciate it. But yeah, good night, everybody. Hope you guys have an awesome trading week. And hopefully you find some stocks in the next couple weeks to potentially buy on a dip.